Hello, my name is Eric Sorter. The movie that I selected was I, Robot. The title of my presentation is Emotional IQ, A Robotic Revolution. I, Robot was released in 2004. Director Alex Proyas. It was based on a novel by Isaac Asimov. The novel was also a series. He made a miniseries. Writers Jeff Ventar, Abika Goldsman were the writers and did the screenplay. Star is none other than Will Smith. Essentially, the movie is about um, this agency called the United States Robotics. It's a sci-fi film, obviously, that develops robots to be utilized as servants in domestic servants. Um, the robots must obey three simple rules. The rules are: a robot may not injure a human being, or through inaction allow a human being to come into harm. Law two is robots must obey orders given to it by human beings, except for where such orders would conflict with the first law. And the third law is a robot must protect its own existence as long as such protection does not conflict with the first or second law. So that's the premise of the existence of the robot. Um, um, so in the movie, uh, one robot seemingly goes rogue. Well, it does goes rogue because he's manipulated by a scientist. The scientist by the name of Alfred Lanning, and the robot was hardwired to have emotions and to have to be utilize critical thinking. Um, and so they feel that this robot is a threat to society, and not just him, but the whole entire army of robots is a threat to society and may upset mankind as we know it, humankind as we know it. Semantics, it's a sci-fi film, so we have all of the semantics of that sci-fi genre. We have the science lab, we have the experiments. I told you about the scientists experiment with one rogue robot who can and does defy these rules. Um, the robot uses critical thinking, artificial intelligence, and all that. Um, and I talked about the feelings and the ability to emote. Um, Dystopias. There is a dystopias. The irony is the film is set in 2035. It came out in 2004 and set in 2035. And the irony is we're like 15 years away from that. Um, so you will see there aren't spaceships. It's set on Earth, but they have cars that look like spaceships, and things as such. Um, yeah, so in this sci-fi film, you have natural order, humanity at risk, and things like that. Let's see. There is a white slavery metaphor. The robots are of a lighter color. Some lighter than others. Some of them have blue eyes even. The lighter robots are those that are. Let me just say this: the more dingy of the white robots are middle class. You'll see them as um, doing odd jobs like they're garbage men, things like that, delivery guys, FedEx. You'll see that throughout the movie. But there is a bit of a role reversal where the people who are in charge are of color. Um, just like you see Will Smith apprehending a would-be thief robot. He's super aggressive when he apprehends because he has a personal disdain already for robots because uh, because of his belief and how they are to society. So he takes it upon himself to, whenever there's opportunity, to utilize aggression. Um, so yeah, that's a bit of a role reversal, as we often see in our society, people of color being treated differently by law enforcement. As far as allegories, yeah, you have this one rogue robot who learns and adopts human life form from a Black officer. Um, Towards the end of the movie, they realize that they need each other. So there's that whole narrative. Um, the Black officer starts out as a bit of a robophobe, but he finally understands, why the scientist creates this rogue robot. Um, yeah. So together, the dynamic infuses a complex racial allegory in the film. And so the ideology in the film is to, as it goes on, is to take caution and relying heavily on technology, as it can disrupt society as we know it, and it does. So in the film, they think this rogue robot, his name is Sonny, um, they think the army of robots are good, but this one rogue robot is bad, and it turns out that it's just the reverse. So the AI, the brain power that controls all of these robots, um, the central thinking is called Vicky, and Vicky is the one that controls, the robots. And the problem is Vicky utilizes critical thinking, and so she sees mankind Um, killing itself, so she takes it upon herself to take control, and she's taken away some freedom. And there's some life loss along the way, and there's a panic amongst society, because these robots aren't obeying laws, you know so yeah. So this one rogue robot, it was made by the scientists to combat Vicky. Is was the real reason why it was made. Um, Representations of gender. Yes, it is here. So we do have Will Smith, the character Will Smith, um, the character played by Will Smith. He lives with his. I'm going to call her his grandma. I can't think of his mother or his grandmother. We'll go with mother. He lives with his mother, who's a home taker. Her whole reason for living is to caretake and nurture her son, who's a grown man. She has no sexuality about her, no domestic partner. She's always seen in the kitchen, uh, cooking, and as a servant to her son. I'm going to show a clip right now that illustrates this. So as you can see, her whole existence is in the kitchen, and she even threatens him with stopping to cook, stopping cooking for him if he didn't call one of his ex girlfriend back. But yeah, so representation of gender, that's pretty standard. That's still a pretty powerful course on how mothers are represented on camera. Um, Typically in movies, we'll have a white male hero that saves the day. In iRobot, it's still a male hero. He just happens to be of color. And then we have obviously a male lead, and a sex symbol, in Will Smith. Um, yeah. So next slide is going to be the representation of sexuality. Um, The lead female starts out as more of a Madonna. She is strong. She's innocent. She's untainted. She's also smart. Her intelligence precedes her. She's not sexualized in any way, but she does. There is a scene where there's this undertone of sexual, a sexual undertone, and where you see at the bottom right clip or picture, she is rubbing on Will Smith's body under the name under the guise of checking out his wounds from an accident. And then there's obviously that male gaze at the top right, but it doesn't go further than that. But it is there, So we learned in our lessons about these things. And so while she is not sexualized, that male female dynamic and sexual undertone is there for sure. Representations of race. We talked about the mom, the Black mom, the helpmate. You see her there with her cat at a table, food, nurturing, domestic type. Um, we see the middle picture on the right, the white guy who is really the brains behind. He's an exec. I won't say he's the brains, but he's an executive. But he's normal. He's always poised. He always has an answer, whether the answer is right or wrong. And he's in a position of authority, which is typical for white males in particular. You see the female down there, the bottom right, Susan Calvin, who is, like I said, excuse me, she's super intelligent, and she's actually a robo-psychologist. So she tries to understand the AI or the thinking, when it comes to these robots that are being ushered into society. And African Americans are viewed as help. Aside from Will Smith, he's viewed African Americans in the film are really viewed as help, and they are loud. Will Smith, even though he's an officer, he's loud, obnoxious. He really does. He uses intelligence, but he's aggressive with it. He's abrasive with it. Um, yeah. So let's go. Representations of class. So the robots that are like working as garbage men or delivery guys, you'll see that they're more dingy. They're a dingy white. The robots that are of higher class, they're pristine. They're white, blue eyes, things like that. The streets are flooded with middle class citizens rushing to work. I'll show a clip of that. The upper class is shown in suits, executive office. They speak good English. You see the right picture, bottom right picture there. You see the hologram of the doctor, top left. And in terms of how people of color are, the lower middle class is depicted. You see the bottom left, their picture of the African American woman. She's heavy set, and when she does speak, it's loud and obnoxious, even though she is right in what she's saying. Yeah. AI transhumanism. Like I said, let me tell you this. So even though Will Smith, he has this disdain for robots, he does utilize, as you can see, the medication to help heal some of his wounds. He was in an accident where he had a lung puncture, he had a shoulder issue, and also his forearm was jacked up. And he does utilize this USR, you see the bottom left, medication to heal his wounds. So in that regard, he's been a bit of a hypocrite. But as I said in there, I'm going to show you a clip real quick about the rogue robot wired with emotions. I'm going to check that out right now. So as you can see there, the scientists created this one robot to be able to utilize critical thinking and also emote. So the robot is still learning himself, and why he's made this way and what his intentions are. And obviously, in the film, we find out that the scientists needed him to combat Vicky, who's going to try to disrupt mankind. So yes, we talked about tampering with nature. You see the medication there, um, to eliminate suffering and to enhance human condition. We talked about um, uh, the AI and things like that. Um, let's see. 10, the impact in canon. So like I said, this movie was a reboot. Not a reboot. Actually, it's more of a reset than the original book that was a series that we spoke about earlier. Um, yeah, so it was a bit of a reboot, and you see Vicky right there, middle picture on the right. That is the center of where all of this brain power is coming from, and you see the robots with um, the red light on their chest that's indicating that they've started to disobey laws and take matters into their own hands. In terms of impact, we live amongst AI right now. iRobots right now. You see this picture right here is literally a robotic vacuum machine that'll vacuum your floor. um, all you got to do is turn it on, and it detects dust, lint, things like that. It'll vacuum your floor. The name of the company, the name of the company is iRobot. So that's a cultural impact. We have Siri, where we can talk to, and she can tell us things like the weather. She can tell us any kind of, it's basically a verbal Google, and Alexa as well. Here, as far as media, YouTube, Netflix, um, Hulu. We have all these social platforms where we have access, to anything we want, um, because of the media. Um, as far as the canon, yeah, the robots, they have the same dialect, which is typical in sci-fi films. We don't have spaceships, but we do have cars that look like spaceships, as you see in this picture right here. Um, um, yeah, we have this hologram right here. Will Smith talking to this hologram. It's not a real person. It's a hologram of somebody who has passed on. Um, yeah, so we have all of that. I'm going to show a clip and how society has been inundated with robotic AI in our society and the dangers that it can impose. One second. So as you see in that clip, you see that just like an iPhone, there's new iterations of this robot that comes out, and you can get the latest version. And you saw the robot walk up to his family that bought him and hugged a little kid. Um, and it's just the way of life going into, based on the movie, into the 2035 year. Um, but again, how much AI, how much intelligence, how much technology do we want to infuse in everyday living, especially when they can be the technology and these robots can be manipulated to do other than what we want it to do. So that's my presentation. This is my bibliography right here. If you want to go to some of the links that I've used. Other than that, thank you. I enjoyed the class, and thank you so